go.
Greetings, world. Us hairy game lords have been playing Vigilante. What did we think? Find out. Okay, so these guys sent us through a prototype hard copy of this game, which myself and a couple of other hairy game lords who aren't on here tonight have played. And then last week we met up and we played Vigilante on TTS, which obviously being on TTS adds a lot more time to the gameplay. But a great game to play all the same. What drew me straight away to this was I really liked the box art and actually that box art with the different kind of villains on it, and obviously superheroes carries throughout the game, and so you've got a whole variety of different superheroes. None of them are kind of like, well, there might be a few. It feels like there's a few rip-offs of some that we may recognise.
How many wizards are there, really?
Yeah, true. That do kind of like time things where you can go. Yeah. So everyone starts off with a superhero, and then you have enough space on your player board to recruit 3 more, or you can keep on recruiting more by bidding off other heroes that aren't suiting you anymore.
The starter heroes aren't that super. Yeah.
They're okay.
Mainly adequate heroes.
Yours was pretty mangy. They've had a doctor.
Dr. Dynamite, I liked him. I thought it was good.
He was actually all right because he got to heal you. Yeah.
So the idea of the game is you've got this game board with loads of different cards on it. You have to jail villains that come up, but in order to fight a villain, and when a villain is revealed, when you go to attack it, it will attack you straight up and wound all of your superheroes or some of your superheroes, depending on the layout.
So on the villains, I really liked how you flip over the villain. You know that, like, so there's like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 villains, and the tier 1, it tells you it's going to be between this much and this much damage. So you're like, okay, right, I could probably take them. But then when you turn it over, you've got your 4 kind of like your array of your heroes, and it says which ones out of those ones it attacks and how much by, and then it tells you what the cost you have to pay is to actually jail that villain. And sometimes it's something that's really helpful, and sometimes it's a pain in the bum.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's a real pain. Other times you get to maybe heal up some of your heroes or even attack other people's heroes. So this game, although it's a hidden identity game, so at the table you will have at least one person who is a villain, and they will be out. They will have a different objective to everybody who is good or neutral. There are 3 different types of players in the game. So there's good, there's evil, and there's neutral. And in certain scenarios, so at the beginning of each game, different scenarios are chosen depending on how many people are playing or what kind of game you're wanting in terms of length. A scenario is chosen. We had in the TTS version, it was like a teamed scenario, wasn't it? So everybody had to try and the good people had to try and get more jailed villains than the bad people, and that's how it rolled out. But in the game, the physical copy of the game that I played, everybody had an individual mission that they had to complete as the game finished, or after the 6 rounds that was played through that scenario, which I really liked. I really liked the fact that you had your own scenario you had to do. You had to keep that kind of secret so that other people couldn't jeopardize what your scenario, what your mission, your goal had to be. So yeah, really good. And even if you were a neutral player, you still had some decent kind of like power or decent mission goal that you had to do. There's also some mission goals for like the mastermind evil person, and also then the alternative of that with the super good person, which are some nice little spins on the game and create that replayability that's always good in a big game like this.
Like, I wish that I had a chance to play the one where you have the neutral players in, because looking through the rule book, and there were so many kind of like different kind of types of character you could be. And it's a bit like, Werewolf or Mafia, where you've got like random people who have like strange things that they do, but you don't know quite who's going to be what. So I was missing that, because like in the team play game, like it was just two of us had villains and two of us had good guys, and actually it didn't make any difference. It was just like your blue team, your red team, figure out who's on your team and go win.
I really enjoyed that about it, though.
Did you?
I know you guys weren't so keen on the team aspect, but I like that sort of hidden traitor kind of thing. Only, to be fair, I think you and Pete knew exactly what was going on. Me and Anne just didn't have a clue. We were just blundering about, whereas James and Pete seemed to know exactly who was who and what was what.
Absolute.
That was one of the bits that I actually enjoyed most about the game. I think is that it was a hidden. It was a team game, but you didn't actually know which
who was on your
team.
team. Yeah,
and trying to figure out who was on your team was actually, I thought, separated it from other sort of battle-y card games. I thought that was a really enjoyable part of the game.
So I
which
really
I guess
like
is,
that. Yeah.
It takes all sorts to make a world. Because I thought that was the best bit of it. Even though it transpired, I was rubbish at it.
Well, I thought you were better than me, and I was the one who brought down our team, basically. I was a rubbish supervillain.
You were so bad at being bad that you didn't even know you were bad.
That's the thing that I really liked about the way you find out other people's allegiance, is that so you get dealt your identity at the start, and you know what that is. But then on your little mini board, at least the version that we played, the teams one, you had 4 tokens. 2 were your dominant type, 1 was neutral, and 1 was the opposite. So I had 2 good, 1 neutral, 1 evil. It was all mixed up. And so if somebody tries to look at what you are, they look at one of those things. So it reminded me a bit of Good Cop, Bad Cop, because there's that aspect in that. But then I really liked how you didn't know which one they'd seen, because you can't, like at least the one that we played, you can't look at.
Yeah, that's right.
Your 4 are. So like you don't know if Dave's figured out who you are after 2. Who knows?
Yeah, I like that as well. So yeah, that's also in the prototype version. So
I looked at 3 of James's, and obviously I found 1 good, 1 neutral, and 1 evil token. So I still, after looking at 3 different ones, I still didn't know which side he was on.
Yeah.
You can also equip your, so you can go, there's a series, there's 4 different actions that you can get to do in a round, and there's a whole load of different actions that you are on the back of your player board, and so you can go over to the city deck, and in there you'll find equipment that you can put onto your superheroes, and you can find other things as well, like things that will heal and stuff like that. But if you then have that decision of whether you equip your superheroes with that, or whether you burn those cards so that it will give you the influence enough to recruit new and better superheroes from the superhero market. So I liked that mechanic in that. I thought that was really cool. That toss up of, this is a really good card, but I really want that superhero that's out because everybody else is gunning for that superhero.
They're so good. The superheroes, you got them all laid out, and like some of them are just fantastic, but expensive. but like brilliant powers that come with them, also brilliant strengths. And
So the strength thing, when that villain comes out, it's the collective amount of your superheroes and their equipment that you're able to beat that villain. And sometimes, and this happened to me, sometimes you would find that villain would obviously attack you first of all, would kill off one of your superheroes, which would then take out that equipment that they had as well, which would mean that you didn't have enough of the collective power to beat them, and therefore rubbish. It was rubbish. Yeah.
Oh man.
You were then on the back foot. You're on the back foot.
Whereas James had the invincible superhero.
It's flipping amazing. And like there was one character called Tina Turnit, who is this just henchwoman lifting a car and smashing a villain with its head. And it said, so you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 in your array. And the locations are actually quite important because Tina Turner, if you put her in, well, whichever one she's in, once she takes 5 damage, the person in number 1 can't take any more damage. So I put her in number 1. She was invincible for the entire game and an absolute tank.
Yeah.
They shake their heads, but it was just it did feel a little bit broken, but I wasn't complaining.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. So, is there
there's
anything
the other
else?
thing. Yes, the way that I love to screw you guys over is the dice. So at the end of every round, you roll your dice and you keep them hidden. And on the edge of the board, you've got like it starts off with 2 things. So you've got loot boxes, you've got kill a hero off or something, you hurt a hero.
It was
a jailbreak.
A jailbreak. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so depending on, so if you get a 1, you access loot, and that is for everybody. Everyone gets loot. And if you get a 3, then you access the prison break, and everyone has a prison break. And right at the start of the game, I didn't have any villains because I'm just amassing my team. And so I put my 3 out. Nobody knew that my other dice was a lovely peaceful number. They could have assumed that
We did.
Did you? You knew.
Straight away, I was like, whatever.
It was obvious that, oh yeah, I rolled 2 3s. Yeah,
yeah,
like
so
you did.
Everybody's losing their villains.
Dad.
And so as you go through the game, every single round you add more and more and more numbers to this. So more and more numbers trigger certain effects. And it's actually really helpful for you to manipulate the game and manipulate the other players and also benefit yourself at the end of each round. And you can also hold a little bit of power over the hidden information on the dice there as well. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Oh, and that was another thing. When you have 3 villains in your jail, you don't any longer have to go to the city deck that everybody goes through, but you go to the agency. And in the agency, there are way better powers and equipment that's available. But again, there's a little bit of a downside to the agency, and that is all the cards that come out of the agency may be really powerful, but their influence is a lot smaller. So in the city deck, sometimes you'd pull a card and it would have 4 influence on it. But in the agency, I'm sure it was only ever 2 influence, maybe sometimes a 1. So when discarding those cards, you wouldn't be able to buy like a 10 or a 15 power superhero unless you had loads of those. So there's lots of kind of like choice in this game, which I like. I like a game where there's lots of choice for you to make on your go, as long as you're not playing with anybody who suffers from analysis paralysis.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would be just terrific.
Yeah, that would.
Do you think would this game be made better if it was licensed superheroes, Marvel, DC, or something like that?
I think so, but I think it depends on the person. For me, I think it probably would, because it gives it more of a hook, and you are playing with the characters rather than Dr. Magic and his round thing from Nepal. But you know, if you're not a mad Marvel fan, then you probably couldn't give a monkeys. So
Yeah, so I mean, I like Marvel and I like DC and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Marvel's better than DC, but you can discuss that in the comments. Anyway,
not really discussing that, is it?
but I liked the fact that it wasn't licensed. I liked the fact that it was these like just normal Joes, or But I had Bulletproof. I can't remember what she did, but she was brilliant.
She was bulletproof, I think.
She was bulletproof. But yeah, I like the way that there was loads and loads of different villains and heroes that I'd never seen
from both
before.
the Marvel and DC universe. So you get that mashup, which you wouldn't have in an officially licensed product. So there you go. There's an
How many
advantage
superpowers
straight
are
away.
there?
Absolutely,
It didn't take itself too seriously as well. Like it was like hammy superheroes. It was light and breezy, and it was good laugh.
I'll have you know, I was as ever taking it incredibly seriously.
This game is coming to Kickstarter on the 30th of March, and it's well worth checking it out, giving it a look, and if it suits you, then certainly get behind it.
Yeah.
Good times.
I think it's
Roger.
It's Dave's MI5 bug.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's no echo now.
There's no echo now. Dave.